Here's where the fuel was leaking. This Banjo bolt right here. Basically, now what I gotta do is take this line off to let the Banjo bolt be exposed, and then take that Banjo bolt off, and then replace it with one of the new Subaru gaskets, which is somewhere over here. This guy right here. What's the part number? Replace it with one of those guys. This is copper, as opposed to the crappy aluminum one Edelbrock gave. So hopefully that'll fix the leak, and we'll be operational. This is what I did with the Banjo bolt. Got a little block of wood, a little shim, and I have 400 grit sandpaper at 600 grit. And what I did was put the block underneath the sandpaper for a relatively level surface, and then just take the bolt, kind of went around in a figure 8 pattern, around back and forth. Just kind of trying to smooth it out in both directions. This is the, try to focus it up. So it looks like after, this is the other side that has yet to be sanded. You could see all the imperfections in the bolt. Little lines. It's really good, really obvious there. This side I think was a little bit worse than the other side. But then again, the finished side, you can see how much smoother that is. And that wasn't that much sanding. I just did 400 grit a little bit, and then 600 grit for maybe like a minute or so. Just really light, almost no pressure, just enough to kind of clean it up. So seems like it's a lot better. You can see it seems so much smoother than this side. So we'll see if that fixes that in conjunction with the OEM gaskets. Hopefully will fix the problem that I was having. Alright, here is the after now for both sides of the bolt. Try to get it in focus here. So you can see there's one side. Here's another side. Significantly better than what it was. Still not perfect, but definitely less variation in that surface. And a little bit more sanding. Here it is installed again. This is the OEM gasket. You'll see it has that little piece that's attached to it. I think that's to kind of put it up against the shaft of the bolt, so that way when you torque it, the gasket isn't turning. Although I find it's kind of hard to, obviously, number one, it's hard to get a torque wrench in there, but number two, it's hard for the shaft of the bolt itself not to rotate around and pivot as you're torquing it. I try to hold it in place, but it still moves a little bit. But anyways, my recommendation is when you take this fuel line off, even after you depressurize the system, put rags everywhere, like everywhere, because I got fuel all over my oil filter and all down in here, all over here, like everywhere pretty much. I caught like half of it in this rag, but it was pretty messy. And then when you put it on again, put a rag down here, which I did not do. It's more, once you put it down, just a little bit of fuel will trickle out and get in there. So just a couple tips.